Um, what are we doing? What are we doing? Frozen Valley. Yeah, go on then. Yeah. And I won. Oh, what do I want? I think this is the best. Maybe. Yeah, I think I've... Yeah, so we do seem to get the spawn consistently on this map. I think I've spoken before about this person, but essentially I have a pen pal in Japan, and doing like, classic, hey, I'll send you some stuff if you want to send me some stuff, and I'm
Turret complete.
like, English sweet shops. They don't sell anything in like proper packaging. If you go into a sweet shop, they just,
Supply pad.
find a random bag and dump the stuff in there, which is kind of not allowed in customs. So I'm having to write out all of the ingredient list by hand. I don't have a printer, and I do not speak... I was going to say a single word of Japanese, but I know maybe 10.
Barracks complete.
You can guess how long it's taking. Probably going to do a couple of these. Yeah, I'm also obviously having to sort of explain what everything is, and, for any English person watching, it's either Barnett's or Barrett's. You know the Mega Sour Raspberry? Or just like the Mega Sour line in general? Yeah, you know exactly why I might want to explain why it's sent to those. That was a mistake, I now realise. Go on. Yeah, and as I say, this is my first ever time writing. Like, I practiced a few characters, because I was sort of joking with her. I've said, these few words so many times, I probably know the kanji off by heart, and proved myself incredibly wrong, and then tried to learn them. I tried to learn 3 characters, and they did not resemble anything by the end of the week that I kept writing them for. And so it's taking a very long time. I am currently on page... what would that be? I think this is... Yeah, probably on about page 10 of A5, but taking quite a long time. And I'm playing sort of in the background. Hopefully you can't hear it. I just left it open. I'm not going to say I rage quit from it, because that's just a lie. But I'm playing, I think it's called Multiverse, an FTL mod, in the background. It's quite good, aside from when it asks you to go and replay ships that you already have and you already have played. A couple of them I lost at the final boss, and now I have to replay an entire game as them. And none of these ships are particularly interesting. And so I'm just like, I've mentioned before, I'm also in the background playing Leaf Blower Revolution. In my library, it goes like F, H, L, and it's like,
Defense gauntlet.
I've got
Reset.
FTL open, I've got Leaf Blower Revolution open. They are both green, and in between is Halo Wars, just begging to be played. At the same time, have I mentioned how kind of bad my computer is? um, I was looking at graphics cards the other day, and I still don't get why I shouldn't like the 4060.
Our ally asks if we need additional supplies.
Oh no, are you gonna die? He is, isn't he?
We would like them to send us some.
I don't get why the AI does this. Like, even in a normal game, why would you do this? Yeah, I do enjoy the FTL mod.
Reactor claimed.
It's just being forced to go back and replay a ship that was never really that interesting in the beginning, and just having to do it for, you know, completion's sake. Not because I super enjoy it, but, you know, just because it's a requirement. It just feels bad. And that's why I'm here. And I also, let me just move my reams upon reams of paper. Actually, I think I'm on more than page 10. I think I'm on about page 12 now of just written
Base
stuff.
under attack.
I do have with me the required hot chocolate for recording Halo Wars. Trying something different. It is, I don't know if I've ever spoken about what I normally use. Normally, it is, just Cadbury's,
Local
right?
units.
Sometimes, I believe they're made by Fry's, but I don't want to jinx it by, you know, saying it like it's fact.
Claimed.
I believe they're made by Fry's. They're like balls of chocolate that you put into hot chocolate. Go on. Yeah, and they just kind of make it a bit more rich, if that makes sense. I don't know how else to describe it. I'm using those, and this time a Starbucks hot chocolate powder. And I don't think I've tried it before. Maybe I have, I don't know. At the end of the day, they all taste, I don't want to say the same because that's just a lie. But I would also be lying if I said I could, you know, 100% differentiate them.
Napalm adherent. Reset.
I will say that it does tend to take a lot of spooning to properly mix the stuff in. Eh, kind of tastes a bit too much dark chocolate, if that makes sense. It's not terrible. It just tastes like dark chocolate.
Repair kit. Research.
You know what I mean? I would like to put you back. No, would I? I need to take this base, is the thing. He has finally started making scorpions. You know, some way to defend himself. How are you doing that?
Our ally has extra supplies. We should flare one of their supplies.
Why do you have extra supplies? Why don't you have a chieftain? Why don't you have more units? Why don't you have something extra? You know, you're playing as the Covenant. Do you know how expensive the upgrades are for it? You know, the Age of Doubt reclamation and stuff. Come on. You don't have extra supplies, you're just playing bad. I say, sitting here knowing that I am very much so guilty of the same thing myself.
Reactor
Um.
approved.
Oh.
Reactor claimed.
I'm not. Do I even say it? So dumb for saying that. I saw the thing at the top. The Forerunner base is being rebuilt, and I thought, oh, that means that there's going to be nothing here, right? You know, because they happen at different times. I forgot that it's a big counter at the top that tells you when the next wave is. And I saw it was at full, and I thought the instead of sending a wave, it had just repaired the thing.
Spartan laser research.
It's for once, I have not woken up early. Well, I say early. Haven't woken up early for me, and I'm sleep deprived. I'm doing the complete opposite. It's currently about midnight.
Local units.
I don't know. Do I like... sorry, let me just... I forget these. Yeah. I remember these. And I just remember this being,
Research.
honestly, kind of just like a bad Cobra. I get that's the point, it's... you know, cheaper. And... maybe? No, I think a Cobra is 2 population, right? The vehicle damage is really lacking. Sorry, I picked Master Chief. The main issue that you have with the Forerunner Survival isn't the Uber units. It's the really powerful, but technically not an Uber unit. You know, they're like vultures, but just a tiny bit weaker and cheaper. So they're not technically a full-on Uber unit,
Deflection plating research.
but they might as well be.
Local unit.
No, I'm going to tell you to take out this turret.
All
Our ally
units.
reports that he is attacking the enemy here.
Yeah, I'm not... Oh no, please don't leave that. Oh, purple, I thought you were taking that.
All units.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I like
Says that he is assaulting this position.
the seemingly hard-coded spawn. Like, it seems that we always spawn by this. And I'm not sure if I like it. I think I do? Because the AI isn't going to make use of it. This is going to go just, like, unused. If we don't get the strong spawn, then the AI isn't going to be able to capitalize on it anyway. So we might as well have it, if that makes sense.
Local units.
but also I think this would be a very different story. Maybe not that different, to be honest. But there would be like a noticeable difference in the early game if we didn't have access to this. Oh yeah, and this is the one map. Normally, these 3v3 maps have a favorable position,
Research.
whereas this kind of doesn't. This, there isn't one good and two bad. There is one... Oh yeah, also, sorry, I don't know if we ever talked about this. So at the top, 1505. Because this is on cooldown, it didn't, take this base, which obviously I quite like. But yeah, that is an important distinction to make. Just like good knowledge to have, because it's something that, it does make a difference, right? Knowing that you have an extra 30 seconds,
Firebase ready.
that's going to change how I'm looking at it. But yeah, this map is kind of whack, because
Station upgrade complete.
if you're playing offline against AI, which, let's be honest, everyone is, if you roll this start, just, unless you're farming for points, or farming for difficulty, whatever you want to call it,
All units.
unless you're trying to get to a higher difficulty, and you spawn here, just quit and restart, honestly. This is just objectively terrible compared to the other ones. This one, 2 bases instantly. This one, 2 bases and a free reactor.
Turret complete.
Like, when you compare them, this is so bad. Like, oh, you get the most convenient access to this, but it's not actually that much difference.
Fortress upgrade complete.
It's definitely like it's more convenient, don't get me wrong, but also, well, why does that matter?
Turret complete.
That this doesn't give you anything.
All units.
It just kind of, oh, okay, I guess I can heal my unit slightly better. This is, in reality, more of a detriment. If this wasn't here at all, then this would probably be a pretty decent start. But because you have this here, and because you have this avenue straight to the enemy,
Air pad complete.
there is no resistance, right? Whereas this one, I believe that this is a free slot, and this is a rebel base, or the other way around, and the same thing happens over here. And so if this guy wants to attack us, he's going to have to go through 2 bases. It's not going to do a lot because the rebel units are incredibly weak, but it's going to do more than nothing,
Complete.
and that's the important bit. It's also probably going to slow... Oh, that... I think because I went out... Sorry, can you guys do something?
Upgrade.
Because I went out of... because it went into the darkness, the fog of war. I think it's why that flopped. But yeah, this map,
Supply pad.
if right here, on both sides, and also probably like here, if there was even stuff like this, sniper towers, or what are they called?
All units.
In the glacial ravine. Is it glacial ravine? Yeah, I think it is, right? The thing in the middle of the map, if there were those,
Supply pad complete.
just one on each side of the healing thing, then I would consider it slightly better. But even still, the inability to expand,
Power turret research.
that's the thing with a lot of the 3v3 maps,
All units.
is
Wingman research.
most of them there is either an objectively
Supply
better
pad complete.
or an objectively worse spawn. And it always just kind of feels rough when you roll that.
All units.
You know what I mean? When you roll, like, the middle one on 14, or the middle one on Exile, or the one that doesn't have the extra base slot on Glacial Ravine. You know,
Turret
it's not the biggest issue, but it just feels bad. You know, it's just like, oh, I'm at a handicap for essentially no reason. And obviously, as I talk about this, I'm fully aware that we are not taking this base very quickly. Don't forget that our expansion efforts
local units.
are quite reduced by the fact that obviously we have to deal with all these waves, and also by the fact that this is a lot stronger than a rebel base. And once again, he is doing that thing. I think it's these guys in the pathfinding. Sometimes that happens. The army wants to stay. Oh, it might be the spawns, is why. Sometimes the army just wants to stay as one big blob. It's like, oh,
Turret
okay.
complete.
I would rather, I don't want to say trickle things in, but I would rather, you know, things not get there all at the same time, if it meant that, you know, I could have a more, how do I explain it? These guys at the front are going to do something. These guys back here are just going to be stuck on the terrain. These will do something. These will just sit as backup. Obviously, that's perfectly fine. But I would rather the front get to the front first. If it dies, it was going to anyway.
Fire base.
And so I would much rather the front get there and die, and the backup sort of replenish the front lines when it actually needs to, rather than just everything sort of clump up and, you know, just get stuck on itself.
All units.
Plus also it is just really annoying and unsatisfying, which, you know, maybe isn't the
Upgrade complete.
best reasoning for doing something, but hey, I get enough what's the word? What's the word other than autistic? You know, like those satisfaction compilations where it's like, I can't even think of any.
All units.
But you know what I mean when I say autism, bait.
Supply pad complete. Enemy engagement.
You know, it's like, this isn't satisfying. Everything getting stuck on itself and all the pathfinding messing up. It's not fun. Once again, if I'm, from what I've seen, I don't really watch much Halo Wars content. I don't think I watch anything on this game, but I used to watch A couple people play Halo Wars 2.
All units.
One guy, Zanny, I think it was,
Turret complete.
doing like multiplayer stuff.
Supply pad.
And I want to say Brett Ultimus did a playthrough of the campaign. I know that one guy definitely did a playthrough of the campaign, and he posted a lot, and a lot of it was like full unedited playthroughs.
Supply pad. Complete.
I know I sit in a glass house while saying that, but I mean playthroughs. I don't mean, you know,
Supply pad upgraded. Supply pad
30, 40 minutes or so of, you know, playing through a game and talking about it. I mean
Firebase ready.
essentially a full unedited Twitch stream of the entire game. And
Supply pad complete.
he would post them like, it's not even daily.
Station upgrade.
It was like, oh God, is there a word?
Supply pad upgraded.
If there is, I can't think of it.
Supply pad upgraded.
But he used to post them. Like, he used to post these videos
Complete.
probably like 5 or 6 times a day. And it's like, I have a lot of videos in my sub box, and I said I probably only watch 5 or 6 of them a day, and so your total output is more than I'm interested in. If I was to watch your videos and nothing else, that would be more than everything else combined from my sub box. And it's like, you do you. I'm not gonna say he's doing good.
All units.
His view to sub count ratio was quite low. Because, you know, people subscribing for Halo Wars content probably don't want,
Supply pad.
you know, a full unedited playthrough of Borderlands 3. A full unedited playthrough of... Isn't there another one? Did I do a Far Cry one? I don't think so. I think it is just Borderlands 3. I know I did a couple videos on Factorio. And Sekiro. But they weren't full playthroughs. I think the only full playthrough I've done is the Borderlands 3 one, isn't it? I've not even uploaded the full playthrough of this game. Oh, I know it's controversial, but I don't enjoy the campaign.
Station upgrade complete.
I'm not saying it's a bad campaign, but the actual proper Halo Wars, the actual, like, mainline series, I can just play
Supply
that.
pad complete.
You know what I mean? I don't...
Enemy engagement.
I can just
Under attack.
always replay the main campaign of Halo. You know, I don't get bored of it. I still find it fun.
Firebase ready.
But this game,
Local units.
I'm not saying it's got an unfun campaign. It's just not as replayable.
Supply pad complete.
Sorry, can you guys do something?
Under attack.
Yeah. As I say, we are only taking those. Sorry, yellow. Come on, you rude cunt.
On the way.
A base has been destroyed.
Like, this would be really cool if the pathfinding was better. Imagine this, but that... You know, imagine this actually was recreating the,
Supply pad complete.
I think it's Reach. The... Oh, what's the mission? Oh yeah, it's the one where you've got to take Cortana to the Pillar of Autumn, isn't it?
All units.
That mission, like that cutscene. Imagine if this was like a recreation of that, rather than this like clunky pathfinding. You see what I mean? They're just getting stuck on the terrain, getting stuck on each other.
All units.
Our ally has extra supplies. We should flare one of their supply pads if we would like them to send us some.
You know, there's just some things in this game that don't get me wrong. Oh, okay. That's an issue.
Base
Like that
under
is a.
enemy engagement. Local units.
What are you doing? Why have you still not taken this out? These, what are they called? Phaeton? Phaeton. God. Sounds like some fucking tranny name on Twitter.
Turret complete. Vehicle
Or like a
deployed.
female
Complete.
Kyle name. Well,
Destroyed. All units.
yeah, these are possibly the biggest issue.
Allied scouts have arrived.
Just when it comes to this game. Sorry, this specific game mode.
Local units.
They are not as powerful as the proper Uber unit, don't get me wrong. But they have the ability, because they spawn more than once a wave, that puts them at a much higher threat.
Supply pad upgraded. Turret
And so, sorry, no.
Allied scouting mission complete.
And so that is why we are going to start putting out, like, look at this.
Allied scouting party on location.
Like, the thing is as well, when you have like the coolest moments in this game,
volley. Research.
you kind of have to script them yourself. You know, it's kind of hard.
Vehicle
Our
deployed.
ally
Complete.
says that he is assaulting this position.
Like, it's kind of hard to get a nice mix where there, you know, a few tanks are like, not really that. But you know, like this composition where there's, you know, a few tanks and they've got like infantry support and there's a few banshees overhead. It's really hard to get that without just scripting it yourself. And at that point, it's like, well, I might as well just go. I don't know. Is there a Halo not minifigure, like wargaming? Is there like Halo 40k? Is that a thing? Because if there is, you might as well just
Firebase ready.
go and. I don't even want to say play that game because it's not. It's just like you might as well go play with those figures. But yeah, this is what I mean. Once they start to cluster up, I would bet the majority of the damage there came from the Phaetons.
Turret complete.
Like this kind of works.
Supply pad up.
Where you have, I believe it's because of the engineer. But yeah, even then they
Firebase ready.
run away.
All units.
You know what I mean? This game, man. Sometimes
All units.
I just want it to be the best, but sometimes it makes it hard.
A base has been destroyed.
Especially if the AI refuses to defend itself. I like there are a few things that I could understand when it comes to this game, but I just don't get this. you're under attack and you pull away the mass amounts of brutes. Does this do friendly damage?
Allied scouts have arrived.
No.
Fire base ready.
Cringe. Oh, that is one thing that
Allied scout
I'm not
mission
gonna,
complete.
there's a reason why Cluster Bomb has why it does friendly damage. There's a reason why it's not, solely enemy damage. Plus also, seems really quiet, the Foreigners.
All units.
I don't know why. But yeah,
Ally is building a base here.
I was going to say, sure, you already have a base there, it's on the map, but no, he literally just lost it.
Carpet bomb. Improved.
Yeah, there's a reason why Carpet Bomb has that friendly fire. And,
All units.
okay, yes. It is kind of mean to do it on my own friend. It is kind of mean to delete this entire army. I would feel really bad for him, and I would be very upset and sad, but it would have been kind of cool.
All units.
Sorry, hold on, pull back for a minute. Does this instant victory us?
All units.
No. Actually, I don't think it does in the base game, does it?
Destroyed.
And I don't even know how that would work, because these don't have resources.
Your team
Actually,
victorious.
is it resource dependent in the base game? In the base game, isn't it always on a timer if you have units left? Even if you have 0 supplies? But stuff like this is what I like. Where it's just like this big mix of everything. Whereas when the AI does this, where it's just like, oh, tank beat everything, it's just kind of cringe. Or when it's like average Covenant player. Average Covenant player. Yeah, we got a bit of variety. I have a Brute Chieftain. And well, I've got a Brute with one model left in the squad. I've got another Brute unit with through veterancy, so that's a lot of variety, for a Covenant player, or at least the AI. I agree. I definitely agree with that. Purple felt useless. And I kind of agree with this being essentially a tie. Squad kill. Wow, did he really? Let me just, flash back to half an hour ago with my editing skills that I do possess. It's just, as I say, my GPU is terrible, and I cannot justify it to myself to have, a several hour long render for a video that will get less than 100 views. It is simply not worth it. But yeah, we took out more bases, but how did he kill the most units? I mean, obviously he had the highest retention rate because he spammed tanks, and also has the bonuses. How did he... we had to save him because he was doing that badly. That is completely unsurprising, considering that's all he built for the first, 10 minutes. how did you get the most? You know what I mean? I thought I would have had the most, considering I took out the most bases. I was clearly on the offensive more than yellow. Admittedly, once again, that is a conflict with the AI and this mod in particular. But I feel like I did more than yellow. I mean, it's the AI. You're always going to feel like you do more than it. It's probably coming in for... Oh, no, because it was just a plain number. I don't know. Actually, yeah, I know exactly why. I know exactly why yellow got the most. Now that I think about it. This base gets attacked from here. Once this one is taken, where does this base get attacked from? Here. Right next to yellow. Oh, sorry. Yellow also took this one for a minute, didn't he? And then lost it. And so the waves would have been spawning from here. By the time that it got pushed back to here, we had already taken these two. So yellow is taking the brunt of not just his third of the wave, but also purple's third, which explains why he got more kills than us, because more was being directed towards him. Also, one thing that I kind of dislike about this map, like, look how barren it is. I wish I could zoom out more. But, like, okay, you've got two there. There's two on the other side. But, like, look how little garrisonable stuff there is. You know, compare that to, what's it called? It's not called Blood River. It's called Memorial Basin. Know exactly what I was talking about. Even just any of the 2v2 maps, aside from that one. And that one because of the design. But, like, you know, that one, the main thing, plenty of towers. Even the side path has a few. This one, you can see right there 5 pieces of cover in there. And that's not even factoring in, I believe, that there's another one. Isn't there one, like, where the two bases spawn? And then, like, in the middle and a bit forward. So it would be like not quite the very far left. But, like, I wish I could point at it, but I can't. But I'm fairly sure that there's another piece of garrisonable stuff in here. Crevice. I don't play much, so I don't know. And Plateau. Kind of. Blood River obviously has quite a lot. Barrens? Which one is Barrens? You're not Release. Tundra has quite a few on every... It's got one place to garrison on every single sort of point of attack, as far as I'm aware. Release doesn't. Perth Outskirts also doesn't. But the map is so small that it doesn't really matter. Chasms I also don't play much. And Blood Gulch. Same as Perth. There's just not enough room for it. And so it doesn't really matter. But, like, you know, Exile, aside from the reactors and stuff on the very outer ring, there is none. 14, aside from the teleporters and the two barriers, you know, that's actually pretty good. I like this map. Frozen Valley, we've just proved, has like 1 on the entire map, and Glacial Ravine has quite a few where they matter. You know, that's one of the things I like about all the units. Once again, you know, it's my favorite mod for a reason, and it's just because it has the most content. I don't think that you could ever beat it, but I think that you can do things better than it, and you can bring new ideas to the table. Like, you know, survival modes. But one of the things I really like, and I also really hate, is the build hog. The build hog is terrible, and every single time I use it for more than placing a single piece of garrisonable cover, it is almost guaranteed to crash. But being able to place down a sniper tower where there should just be one in the base game. You know, give me more things to put my stuff in. And I admit, it is because I am a lazy human. The reason why I like Memorial Basin is because you put units in that cover, and you just leave them. They will keep, you know, line of sight, they will give you a forewarning, and they might repel a small invasion, or they will at least stall it to a point where you can have a better answer to it. And all of that will happen regardless of how many times you press all units. No matter how many commands you give to all units, they will continue to do their job. Whereas, you know, something like Exile, I can put my units in strategic places 100%. But the second I press all units, they are gone. Any advantages of like strategic placement and stuff are gone because I'm not a StarCraft player. But that's just like a base game thing. You know, I do like this game, but it does have issues, and I have issues too. Those issues being another probably 10 pages of Japanese to write, which, you know, 5 A4 ones. If I said I don't have a printer, never thought I would actually be missing it until now. But hey, you know, sending a hand-picked, personalised parcel, I might as well spend hours. I am not joking when I say it will take me personally probably about 1/10 of the time to eat everything in the box as it has to write out all the letters. Admittedly, you know, I'm gonna eat things that are familiar to me. You know, things like peach rings. They're something I've had my entire life. I'm not gonna be like thinking about them, if that makes sense. You know, it's just like in it goes, straight down. Whereas, you know, someone that's never had it before are probably gonna, I don't know, enjoy it, think about it, whatever you want to say. But yeah, I should, my pencil. I had a full-size pencil when I started this. it is now at the point where it's worth like, like the final segment of your middle finger. It is at the point where the length of the pencil is not long enough to go from the end of my middle finger to my like fleshy thumb hole, whatever it's called. That's how much if it was English, if it was, Latin characters, it'd be so much easier. If it was characters where I didn't have to worry about, precise lines and details, where kanji didn't exist, I wouldn't have to have a pen, that's needle sharp, but I will stop procrastinating